Thank you for coming. There is a suggestion in the chat about discussing on the project. So what would be ideal project? So that brings in a very interesting topic. Ideal, the best possible project is leveraging any kind of parallelism. So if we remember our classes, we could be doing parallel programming for one machine, converting single thread programs to multi-thread or multi-process programs. Then utilizing different core of the same CPU or utilizing different cores of the different type of processor like tensor processing unit, GPU. So even if you're using Colab, Google Colab, Kaggle, or any other environment, you are using multiple resources together. So multiple CPU core, it could even be, it's an algorithm. So first, what is an algorithm? Set of instructions. Anything else? What is an algorithm? Procedure. Anyone else? Shatabdi, Marzuka, Said Ishtiaq, Ahana, Danadun, Rahul, Jajesh, Shadman, Shatabdi, Sarah, Atikur, Nurullah, Sharifin, Sharia, Tanvir, Rafi Hassan, Sajidul. What is an algorithm? So Sarah says certain way to solve a problem. Somebody spoke up, or volume was down, so it's now back up. Would you like to repeat your answer? So algorithm is maybe a step-by-step process to solve a problem. So the steps that are involved. Yes, Tanvir sir, want to say something? Okay. Now, what are you going to utilize? So it could be even utilizing multiple network cards, multiple LAN card, WAN cards. So most of you have Wi-Fi. Did you know that you can combine two internet connections? Some of the Wi-Fi router also support this. Some of the Wi-Fi router supports combining multiple internet connections. So one or more may be your WAN connection, another may be your 3G or 4G. Okay, so let me allow to share the screen. So what are you talking about today? We'll be talking about any question if you have midterms. Some people did not find midterm syllabus. It was posted in the classroom. And it's also available in the folder. In the folder, that's available. Second, there was another request to talk about ideal projects. So we are talking about certain projects that are possible. One is to combine processing power of multiple CPU, GPU cores. So you do parallel programming, GPU is the most common. So GPU programming is parallel. Then you could do multi-processing in a CPU, or you could even combine multiple internet connections. So it could be two WAN connection, or you combine your broadband with dial-up, so your mobile data in your Wi-Fi router. So inside your Wi-Fi router, you combine both of them. Or you do that in your PC. So use connect to LAN and mobile data at the same time using your PC. So be connecting both network and you do parallel processing of that. So you choose which data to send over which connection or if to send in parallel. Did any of you ever use any download manager? What does the download manager do? Do you download faster? Yes. Why? Why does it download so slow without it? How does download manager accelerate the downloads? How does it work? You're all computer science people, right? At least most of us are. How does a download manager accelerate download? How does it speed up? Does it tell the server send file faster? Or think it in a way that normally whatever you download, your torrent speed can sometimes be faster than your regular download. Does it ever happen? Is torrent download speed faster than your regular file download? Sometimes? Okay. So because multi-threading, Rajesh Majumdar says multi-threading, excellent. So multi-threading. So there are many download managers out there. What do you do? Multi-threading. What does each thread do? What does each of the threads do? Are they downloading the same file? Yes. Excellent. So we are segmenting the file. And each thread is requesting the server for a different part of the file. Right. So then in parallel, even if single thread becomes slow, overall multiple threads are working. Definitely one problem is there, that is, you might be overwhelming the server. But what is the workaround that? How not to overload the server? So some of the download managers, they have excellent, Rafi Hassan says, good solution. Single file from different sources. You look for something called mirror. You look for something called download mirrors. What do mirror have? This is the wrong mirror. So file mirror, what is this? You find out where in the internet other copies of the same file exist. And then you request different server for some of the chunks, some of the parts. So together, what are you overcoming? You're overcoming single thread limitation, network slowdown over time, then server limitation, so many more benefits. So in short, you could be implementing a download manager, which this is one of the project ideas. So one idea is implement a multi-threaded download manager with mirror lookups. Okay, that's one. Second is you could try to make a torrent client. You could be implementing a internet crawler. Again, the task is not important. Anything you should do to render graphics on multiple GPU. Combine, split your workload across CPU, GPU, TPU, and good. It could be on same different machine locally and online. This is the overall. That's the overall idea. It's not a single project. That's an overall idea. And examples are that. So that parallel processing happens. That's the overall idea. And what is this? It could be computation, it could be input output for storage. So parallel input output. You might be looking for high performance input output. You have computation, which is high performance computing. It could be network. It could be any other computing resources, any computing resources. Does it make sense? So, download manager is one idea, torrent client is one idea, graphics render on multiple GPU. This, again, multiple processing units. In our times, we didn't have a separate GPU. Our games used to run on the CPU. And when GPU came, and now even some of the libraries, some of your machine learning libraries, they are utilizing CPU and GPU at the same time. They're splitting up the workload. Some load runs on the GPU, some load runs on the CPU. You give tasks based on their capability. You don't give GPU specific parallel massive. What is GPU? GPU is something massively parallel. How many cores are there in GPU? Anybody? Does everyone have a graphics card? Anybody who does not? You don't have a graphics card? You don't even have a PC?
I have but graphics card.
Okay, so does the laptop have a graphics card?
Yeah.
How many cores are there?
I want.
You think? Can you find out?
But I don't think so. But Apple claims it has it.
Oh, Apple claims. Apple said that. Okay, so your vendor said that. Fine. So distribute your workload across CPU, GPU.
So what kind of, I mean, we explain
Wait. But show up, prove the speed up or increased performance so compare all right, so now it could be a torrent. Every torrent client is also a server. He's sending out the file. Internet crawler. Everybody understands internet crawler? You crawl. What's a crawling? Spider crawls. You collect your files from the internet. You download many different websites. The crawler crawls, downloads many websites. So that once you download the website, you can implement a search engine. 3,600 CUDA cores. That means you're trying to utilize that many cores from the processing unit. That means it is not just parallel, it's massively parallel. Okay, so you could be rendering graphics, you could be doing blockchain related stuff or anything, any security application. Security, blockchain, cryptography. Let's keep it ... Okay.
Can you give some idea about DevOps, how can you relate it to our or how?
Okay, so you could be in your DevOps pipeline, you could be compiling for multiple targets at the same time. So you have a common code base. You have to generate an Android version, iOS version, desktop version, 32-bit, 64-bit, different versions you have to generate. So you compile different in parallel. That's alone. The next level would be your compilation is multi-process. The first is make each process in parallel. And then on top of that, each of them can be further parallelized. And DevOps has not just compilation, many other things happen, right? You do version control, you do software testing, right? So one interesting educational project is visualization of parallel algorithms. Interactive visualization of parallel algorithms. That could be an interesting project. Definitely running ML model, but there is a catch. What you're talking about is going back to the DevOps. You have a ML pipeline. Pipeline has what? You have to load the data. What's much later? You have to load the data. You have a huge data set. How do you do it fast? No, I'm giving you the starting point. How do you load a huge data set? So maybe your data set does not fit in one machine. So you split up the work and then you load data there. Or even you combine, say you have data stored in multiple partitions or multiple desks or multiple machines on the network, and you work with the data in parallel. Or you have a multimodal model. You process each modality at the same time. Any kind of parallelism in any of the stage, it doesn't have to be end-to-end parallelism. You choose, it could be input, it could be inference, it could be training, it could be output. It could be your interpretability steps. It could be testing, anything you do in parallel.
One stage.
Any one of the stage. Okay? So any one of the stage you run in parallel. So it's not running any parallel steps in your pipeline. That's even better.
So it will be very simple.
If you can prove the speed up, that's fine. But you're bringing benefits. So compared to somebody else, your peers, teammates, everyone else doing similar things, right? So whatever they are doing, in normally you do it first and you measure. So what do you need to do? Do you remember what you did in the first 3 classes? Profiling. What is that? Profiling? Code profiling? No? Okay. This is called profiling. So when you profile, you measure every step, time every step. So measure time, memory, and other resources, whatever you're using, and you compare. So look for code profiling. So the idea was that we discussed in I think in first month. So there are many different tools for different ID. You find out where is the performance bottleneck or optimization. Now this is my slowest loop. This is my slowest part of the pipeline, and then you work on that. Okay. So what else? What other ideas can there be? Any problem, look at it both sides, flip the coin. You do some sort of testing of parallel tools. For 8 or 9? 9. So what tools are available? It could be there is a software tester which is working in parallel. You put it to test. First one is 8 is you implement the tool yourself. Second is find a tool that does any job in parallel and you follow up with these steps. You configure, you try its variation, configuration, and you measure everything as if you're criticizing it and you're not how good of a job is it doing. Maybe you're going to become a competitor. How do people try to infiltrate the market or prove that they start commenting? Start commenting to pose as an expert. Commenting is easy, right? Any other question regarding the project? Again, again, you are not going to be asked directly for the overall thing. We might be asking you breakdown step by step. Ask for each step of your project separately. So be prepared for that. So if you have a project, be able to split it up to different components per ask. You get 1 week less than the final week of the class. So 1 to 2 weeks early. You have to submit 1 to 2 weeks early. So last 2 weeks will be playing with your projects. So we'll be dissecting your project and you'll be showing us step by step, explaining every line maybe. And then maybe change in life. Okay, so first, many of you are having difficulties finding a project or trying to think what to do. The idea is think in a different direction. What do you like to do? Forget well, what do you like to do? What is your dream project? Dream thing. So if you are going to open a software company, what is your dream project? Dream software, what do you want to develop? Anybody, anything? What software will I develop? Do that, and then find the parallel processing there. Does it make sense? Don't try, just because these examples are shown doesn't mean you have to do any of these. Do any project, make a game, and then do parallel processing there. If you're into graphics, then render the graphics in multiple. If you're into ML and graphics at the same time, you generate pictures in parallel. If you're into outsourcing and you do something called splitting up pictures so that web pages go faster. So what you do the scripting for the tool that I don't know if Blender does that, but Photoshop used to have a scripting. So I believe the open source image processing tools should have scripting portions. So you use some program to do that job in parallel, splitting up pictures. Or generating pictures. You're doing data augmentation, do that in parallel, data augmentation. Synthetic data generation, do that in parallel. And if that helps, so data augmentation in parallel. It could be splitting pictures. So the task itself matters less. As long as it's not fully sequential, you can parallelize it. So you feel free to choose anything you like and then find the potential segment in that where you could parallelize it. Maybe load balancing of, say, GPU loads. It would be a bit challenging. Okay, load balancing, it would be a bit challenging because this is more of a system level. Maybe say you want to run, say OBS or a game, and at the same time you want the GPU to do something else, and so you want to balance the load. So how do you split up? So you could try that. It could be parallel processing over a cloud. That is also possible. Have you done graphics course? Everyone did?
Okay.
Everybody used OpenGL?
Yes.
So you could try OpenCL, Open Computing Library. Of course, definitely you have your CUDA. Right.
OpenCL be binary.
OpenCL is a general library. You might be able to find the binding. How many people have Apple devices? Computing, so laptop. Okay, so the Apple people, maybe we should try. Again? Yes, this will be in the folder. Nobody does Windows development, right? Now, just because these are listed, these are general purpose. You could be utilizing your special libraries for a special purpose. For example, so it doesn't have to be any general purpose, it could be special. It could be the task library. You could be using, say, Chapel programming language. One of the tutorials that we saw that was probably, they probably had a Chapel tutorial. Let me check. Yes. So introductory Chapel is here. So you could be using, so your parallel programming can happen in Python as well. Python is fine. You could be doing in Chapel, you could be doing, so there are different programming languages. There are different libraries that utilize parallel. So whatever you're doing, find a parallel version for that. Anybody use C++? Anybody? Do you use C++? Okay. So look for parallel programming in the language of your choice. You should be able to find some libraries. You do some processing in parallel, that is the goal. No, it's not on by default. You have to carefully code for it. Your programming has to be parallelized in a way. Even if, okay, have you heard of object-oriented programming languages? Which are the languages object-oriented? Java is object-oriented, C++ is object-oriented, Python is object-oriented. Python has an object, right? So it is entirely possible to write a structured program in an object language. And non-object-oriented programming is possible in any object-oriented programming language. You don't utilize the object part. You write a program that doesn't utilize the object concept. Just because we are using an object-oriented programming language does not mean the solution is following all object-oriented principles. Similarly, just because you're using a certain programming language, libraries, and other stuff doesn't mean your program is fully parallel. It may be a bit, maybe something is being happening by default, but not purpose built. Just because anybody creates a Facebook account doesn't mean they just have just become social. Do you get the concept? Maybe that person is so unsocial, doesn't want to talk to anyone, just want to browse. Or feels more comfortable sending a Facebook message than talking in from face to face. Entirely possible, right? Similarly, the tool, the software, the language doesn't make the programs inherently parallelism aware. So was I able to explain the concept? Okay. So might wish to review the chapel material from here. It's work under progress. So we also have example for parallelization in Python as well. Okay. So we'll see if we can get started with some of these later. So have a theme. Have a theme that you want to do something in certain area. So get an idea for the project. Then as we go through different parts, we ask for different part of your project step by step. It's not you dump the whole project at once. It's not going to be like that.
We have to progress every week.
We'll try to split up twice or once, 1 or 2 weeks breakdown. What other questions do you have? Any other questions regarding the project or midterm itself? Are we getting ahead with the paper reviews? Don't pile them up, okay? We have received instruction to include additional topics. That is, if anything new we discussed today. So far what we are doing is discuss about the project and other parts. So maybe what can we ask from here? Example of some tools maybe? Individual, yes. The project is individual. Not bad. Submitting ideas. Not bad. Wait. Again?
Why will the projects are being like done by the approach? That's like if they're not proposed in each of the areas where we.
Why start in a group?
Yes.
Yesterday, a representative from the industry came. We had an industry advisory panel, and they actually sent a group. Course project group is probably some course, you don't need to know. The course project group was sent to a startup. And they found and they were giving tasks to everyone. And it turns out in the discussion that not every member of the group was able to handle the task. Some members had no idea, didn't even understand maybe the instructions. And same constant is being drawn about thesis projects. The only thing out is SAFE's internship because that's individual. So employers are worried about individual contributions done in a group. Because when they are giving tasks, graduates are might have difficulties. They are happy with many graduates, but some people, when they're in working a group, what they do, they split up the work. But you can split up the work, fine, but it should not be split up the learning. Everybody has to know what's happening, and they should be able to do it. Just it happens that someone is doing something else. If the roles are rotated, it should be the same.
There is
No, it's not about history. The idea is all will learn the same thing, but happen to do just one part. That should be the case. It's not, I'll learn only the part assigned to me. It's not that. Part of the team means that each member should know what the whole team is doing and how. It is discussed in a business much more. If the cleaner of a super shop is not motivated about sales, that super shop will go down. It's not about how good the salesmen are or the managers are. The cleaner also has to be equally motivated. So most successful super shop, what do they do? They make them shareholders in a way. That in the shop profits, if the company profits, everybody profits. So everybody is equally motivated. Thesis does this in a way that everybody has individual marks. So employers requested individual strength. So another request was people shared is they choose learn well over learning a lot. So learning well is more important than learning a lot. One of the employer shared that they don't even read the CV. Because people write a lot of things in the CV, all the advanced stuff, what they do, they just state the basics. You're programming your data structure algorithm. If you're good in that, you will be really good in all the other things in the CV as well. So they don't trust most part of the CV. They give, so you apply for AI job, maybe they won't even ask you any AI question. They will check your fundamentals and they'll build on that. Depending on the type of the job. It's not just data structure algorithm, it's a foundation. You know how the operating system works, network works. It's not knowing only the algorithm. Because when they are giving the task, but the common example that they share is they told, okay, you are an AI engineer, fine. But to be able to work with data, you have to know how to fetch data. Get data, then train on that. Get data, then test on that. How do we get data? Using SQL queries. So write a basic SQL query. And the AI engineers, applicant, failed at that. Is the situation of the whole country. AI is much later. If you don't have the data, you don't have AI. So they are testing. Again, these are not small employers. The people who came, they are the big employers. It includes Tera. It includes Datasoft. Datasoft has offices like in 7 or more countries. Bangladeshi company, right? So on one of the, I think they have several hundred or if not 1,000 employees. Tera has service in all US 50 states. You know that, right? All US 50 states. So they are talking about this. So we are saying, okay, I know Spark, Hadoop, MapReduce, I know all TensorFlow. You have done gradient boosting, light GBM stuff, and they're asking you basic questions. So then it's a problem. The foundation is, if the foundation is right, rest of the thing you'll learn in 3 months. If you are able to learn the foundation, and other employers share that they didn't even look at the CGPA. Because CGPA has a contribution from CSA courses, contribution from non-CSA courses. Looking at the CGPA doesn't help. So not reading most part of the CV, not reading most part of the, not looking at the CV. What they're caring about is, do you have a strong foundation or not? Yes, they see the project and they look at what he said, GitHub history. How rich the commit history is. Yes, they do. So that speaks much more than CV. More importantly, if you have been part of an open source project, open source international project, you work with that, that means we have the ability to understand how other people are working and then contribute there. So that's the value of the cost. Just choose a car, Firefox, VLC, LibreOffice. You choose a car. VLC তে আপনার কোডেক বানাইতে হবে না, তাই না? আমরা যে ফাস্ট ফুরিয়ার ট্রান্সফর্ম করতে হবে না। VLC তে আপনি মেনুটাই একটু বাড়ায় দেন। নতুন একটা মেনু ক্রিয়েট করেন। Understanding somebody else's code, debugging that, and adding your own modification and testing that, like maintaining their quality. Every organization have their different styles. Maintain that.
When classroom 6 specialists, they're like multiple projects coming out from multiple and each of them are very individual. So we like search from all the possible things, possibilities like that, all that, I have so many employees that each one could be like a bit minimal or less complicated, like when it comes to.
A very good question. So let's make it easier for you. I'm not looking for a polished project. You don't even have to have any GUI, no graphics needed. Don't use any icon at all. No color needed. Make it black and white. Make the console application. I want the minimum POC, proof of concept, that you tried something parallel. You tried there, fails. If double speed up didn't happen, maybe 10% speed up happened. Just as long as you can prove it's not that random. Do you remember? Were you present in last class? Okay, so have you seen that random variation of 0.5 or something like that? Or 5? It was 5 seconds, I think. So that was a random change. If you can prove that, alhamdulillah. If you can prove the change is not a random happening, so repeatedly, it's repeatable. Your measurement, your code profiling and measurement, so repeatable, that it's always 5 to 10 seconds faster. Then you are good. Doesn't have the huge booster. Any smallest project you do, we are not here to make a dollar manage. If you can do something in parallel and show that it's better than a non-parallel version, then fine. Any smallest possible stuff. Get a toy example, toy projects, modify that. It should not be that you ask me, I did the whole project for you, and you have no clue. That's easy, right? You tell AI to do it, your project is ready and what? 30 minutes, maximum 2 hours, you have refined all comments. It's a professional grade project. Only thing happening is not much clue what's happening everywhere. So what you do? Ask for AI, fine, learn, use AI to learn, but not to deliver. Ask AI, do everything, done, finish, start over, now do it yourself. Then you'll have something else, confidence. Okay, any other questions? Yes. TheraP have been asking us for CVs and they're always asking for people and they're always coming in our departmental meetings since before I graduated. So that was, that's probably 1.5 decades or 2 decades.
First, it's not that open. There are persons. I think there's a read them on the page.
TheraP salary is look like less than competitors. And that is good. Why is that good? Because TheraP is serving the US market, right? There everything will be compared to others better. What they're giving with that, so they're giving you transport, they're giving, again, I'm not a agent from TheraP, okay? So you have, some of the employers are giving facilities. So they have, I think, lunch maybe, lunch and refreshment, picnics, indoor sports, and maybe some employment benefits. I don't know the details. I've never applied for them. But I have seen many of my seniors and juniors apply.
There's more about foundation and this.
So they will ask for it's TSA and AI courses. They'll ask you AI course question, database question. So what's foundation of? So you remember the difference between a CS and CSE program. So in the CS program, we have your programming algorithm, computer networks, OS. Compiler questions are rare. Operating system network. So database algorithm, operating system network. These are the additional courses. Unless the job requires some graphics, they'll ask graphics questions. But apart from that, this is programming. Most people would not see CGPA as credibility. CGPA is, what is a CGPA? CGPA means you were able to tolerate 40 people, adjust to their schedule, their rules, their timeline. So you are able to satisfy you 40 of your clients. Look at it that way. You are able to deal with 40 different companies. Look at that. Haven't you seen any job posting in BD Jobs somewhere else? Graduate from any discipline. What do they do and graduate from any discipline? That you were able to achieve something over 4 or 5 years. That itself is a test. That given a task, you will be able to complete it. What does CGPA 2.5 mean? Maybe 60-70%, somewhere like that, right? So that means you're more likely to get things done within time frame. You're not going to take infant. Another thing they requested for the industry panel yesterday is following professional timeline. It's not university assignment. You do it whole line, give it 1 day later, and ask for partial. Clients don't accept that. And clients don't expect emails outside office hours as well. They have to deliver within the office hours.
I once saw one of the company where CEO saying that they reject people with massive GPA in industries, but even they will go away for academia levels.
Some industry do that. Not just industry. Yes. In Bangladesh, I have also seen the top scorer from BUET was also rejected in university because they were not strict. So for a faculty post, they were not selected. Because of stability issues. Okay. Any other questions? In Bangladesh, there is an industry. If you, any skill is valuable. Even if you do, say, you happen to have, maybe you're very much have knack for technical stuff, and you want to do something in this parallel algorithm. If you do it well, apply it to anything. You apply it to ML, apply it to graphics, anything, even software testing. and you do it really well, you should be able to open up your own company because very few of others are doing it. Another thing most people they talked about is most people apply for what? CSE graduate apply to software companies only. It's not the software companies who are tech users. So a graveyard can also need a database. Database administrator for a graveyard management, that's also possible. They share Lab 8 hospital, and so there will be a rise of non-traditional companies for tech postings. So hospitals, health industries, so they are recruiting a lot of AI engineers to leverage their data in-house instead of buying a product from a tech companies because that's cheaper. Now, if you are an AI engineer, how many of you are going to apply in a Lab 8? You don't even want to even think of it. You look for software company because as if AI is used by only software people. ChatGPT, who is using ChatGPT? You don't know, maybe Rickshaw is also using ChatGPT. How to drive rickshaw better. So it's for everyone, right? Is there any speed up? You need to have certain CGPA, have to be CSE student to use ChatGPT too. So same is industry is going to diversify more. The jobs are going to be open up for companies who are not in software business.
Include all year round or
ThedUp, again, I could be completely wrong. What we heard about ThedUp about 10 years back is they hired in the graduation season. So whenever people graduate from Kuwait, Dhaka University, BRAC, and a few other universities, they hire them immediately, regardless of they have vacancy or not. And they are one of few companies who recruited a whole team because they are going to need this team next year. So they hired a year ahead. Because when they are going to have a project, they might not find talent right away available. So they took it early, started training them and over. So they gave them work and they're going to utilize them after a year. And most companies hire maybe a few months earlier because they're going to provide 3 to 6 months of training, in-house training. So not all of them expect to know everything from university. It's not possible because their stack is different. So they said, you don't have to know multiple stack. You have to know one stack well. If you know one stack well, one programming language, it doesn't matter if you know 10 languages. Know one language well, then you can learn another language in no time. Because if you have succeeded once, it's like your coursework. If you have gotten 1A, there will be a spillover effect. You'll start doing better in other courses, even if they're from different departments. So they focus on hands-on. So people are generally more theoretical. So how many of us looked at the Colab file that was shown in last class? How many of you went through the Colab file, Google Colab file? Exactly that's what they told us. Everybody good in theoretical science, everybody know hands-on. So if they test for practical stuff, they cannot write a line. Well, I asked this question before in this class. I'm asking you again. Can you write a bubble sort code on paper now? It should be in your blood. It should be in your blood. It's not something to forget. And it's not something to memorize either. If you are memorizing it, we are doing it wrong. Yes, we are in the age where your ID or library, everything is auto-completed, that is fine. But being able to do things on paper or on board, so interview happens on whiteboard. You're not always going to get a PC2 in your interview. Of course, there might be different stages. That is it. Knowing how to use AI is very important because you don't get stuck. Maybe you'll get stuck less. That is very important. That is valuable, no doubt about that. But knowing something, whether AI is giving correct answer or not, real answer or not, we have to be able to just judge that. Okay, so they ask for dummy programs. So by the end of this course, I would like to see you have done a very tiny program, but that uses parallelism in any part, be it single machine or multiple machine, single network, multiple network, single file, or multiple storage, or multiple I/O devices, or multiple cloud. There are parallel compute cluster as well. AWS has parallel compute cluster. Let me see if I can find any more points from yesterday's discussion.
Which courses would you suggest as
You could go to AI track or you could go to cloud track as well. Both are equally good. Both of will have some sort of parallelism. There are parallel portions there.
available right now for us to enroll?
It's free for webs. AWS, Google, Microsoft, all of them have lots of free tutorials. Do that. You don't have to wait for any subscription and other stuff. Lots of materials are available already. So previously what students used to do is people used to copy assignments, right? Now very few people copy assignments. Most of them ask ChatGPT. Another thing they ask for, you are asking for group project, right? But individually, if you can do the smallest thing by yourself, you'll get a lot of confidence. You'll do group, you learn together, that is completely fine. Study together, study in a group, study or do your projects in a group, fine. But all of your projects are separate projects. That happens in universities abroad. They talked about, even there is somebody in MIT as so MIT first year, students are given impossible workload. So what they do, so it's impossible workload on an impossible timeline. What they learn is to collaborate, work together to study, even though their things are different, and how to choose between good and better. Because every option is good. There will be a seminar, workshops, assignments, everything all together. You choose only the top few, the best of the best for your, which aligns to you. Because you have to miss some anyway. And how to get things done in an impossible timeline. So those are the first year learning from MIT. Are you built for it? Are you strong enough to survive mentally? That is the test. So they are told to work as a volunteer, and they also shared stories that people work for 2 years voluntarily in an open source project before getting hired. And that's a guy from remote location in Bangladesh earning $4,000 to $5,000 per month. Studied in Feni Polytechnic. How did the story come out? Because the CEO of Datasoft, which is a multinational company now, was doing a marathon together in Shariatpur, Sherpur, Feni, somewhere like that. That's the shared story. So worked for 2 years. Oh, it did have work with PHP. So it's important to work on internationally open source. So again, would you allow me to give you some shortcut? If you want to build your career, something related to this, let's give you a shortcut. This is an international project. By contributing this project, you get international visibility. It has a lot of tutorials, most of them in alpha, pre-alpha, beta version. Of course, they are being used, they are being taught in US government trainings, university trainings globally. The different continents are using it. UK is using it. Spain is using it. You do a small contribution to any of this project, that's the easiest way to get into open source. What you need to do? The tutorial website is there, the GitHub repository is there, the discussion are there. There are weekly or monthly meetings on these. So if you go through, you'll find something to improve. You learn from the internet, get the idea what they're trying to do, and you add your bit to it. Or you suggest, okay, I want to make that change. I say these are all international projects and global communities using it. You first try to understand what they're trying to do, learn similar things from the internet, and suggest some additions there. All the full Git repository is there. Right. So most relevant to this course directly is this tool, Chapel, and this parallelization using Python with a focus on HPC. These are most relevant. Okay, but there are more because HPC will be doing a lot of things in parallel, right? So maybe at this one tuning, but it's probably a bit advanced for you. Right, those two would be most.
So what I was asking, like, when we find source for pay for open source
Let me show you an example. This is parallelized using Python, right? This is the rendered lesson. So this is the compiled version of the tutorial. And the GitHub repo is the source code version. So this will have lots of text and different discussions. Let me show you in a single, okay, one-page version is unavailable. Let's go step by step.
So what I was asking, how we contribute, like, learning from all this.
This is a lesson that is supposed to take about 4.5 hours. You go through each of the page and see what has been done here. So these are each of these are called module. Okay. So module, say this is the tutorial. A code is here. It doesn't have to be code contribution. You could even changing the text. Okay. So first follow the tutorial, see what is teaching, learn that, and then suggest any change or inclusion, any addition.
We discuss changes.
Do that tutorial. How do you do that? You go at the bottom of every page, you'll see contributing link or source link. You go to the source, you go to the GitHub page. In GitHub, this is the total lesson. I'll have to spend some time to understand the file structure. And then you directly go there. What is this file? This is module 3, paradigm shift. Parallel modules, no module folder. Let me see, it's episode. Let's go inside episode, might be there. Okay, now here we see number 3, parallel. This file is an MD file. MD means markdown files. Okay. So look at the source code. This is the preview. Go to the code version. This is what the markdown looks like. So you spend maybe an hour or two learning how to write a markdown. It's a text-based format. So, and each of those will have 2 what to write in the console, how to write in the code. This is the bash language. That means this segment is a bash setup, which is the terminal. Do you remember the bash shell? So this is a shell segment. So you understand the structure and you contribute like that. So first, as a learner, go through the whole tutorial. And then learn about each of these a bit more and then suggest addition. If you go to the repository again, if you want to join the weekly, monthly meetings, you're welcome. Ask me for that. I'll send you the link to join. There are
How does it go then, like ask for a question?
It's a global project. People from many different countries are contributing. What they're doing, they're trying to develop a tutorial, making it easier for researchers to learn parallel programming.
Just make it more efficient.
Make it for everyone. Because there is no prerequisite. Learners could be coming from a commerce background. Who uses parallel programming? Everyone needs it. Your economics PhD students need to do parallel programming. What do they go to this tutorial and learn that? They need to complete whole CSA degree to be able to do this. So this has sufficiently, of course, it will have prerequisites. For example, learn shell first. It will have small prerequisites, but not much. It is a novice, again, this is a novice tutorial just to get started. Minimum amount of knowledge to get started with solving problems from any discipline using parallel programming. So people who are users, one of the guy who is a major contributor here has a background in physics. So we were talking about task here, we have used task scheduler. Okay, any other question? So if I try to give an overview, each of the tutorial comes with a story. Say some user needs to do this, they have a research case, they're trying to do just some job, and why should they be doing it in parallel, and how does the parallelism work, and how to set it up, how to configure it, how to test it. So this is just getting started, and this is the basic stuff. Now there are some extra with what are the prerequisites needs to be done, other stuff. There's a setup section, what tools do you need? So on which operating system you need to do what? There's a preparation. That's it. So go through different tutorials there. If it's too much for you, start with what? HPC. We have discontinued one. That is HPC shells. Instead of that, we use software carpentry shells. So that is listed at the top of it. The links right? Here, this one. We use this one, software carpentry shell. So this is the one that we showed you in one of the classes today. So how to work with the terminal. Git bash. Is that okay? What other questions do you have? So this is one of the easiest way to get involved in international open source projects. Okay, Sarah Milham Zaman asked from today's class what's in the midterm syllabus. One is the tool names, right? Tool names. Anything else? Maybe some idea about a project. So start thinking about, make a short list. These are the 3 or 5 things I might consider trying. Again, I'm not asking for something extraordinary. Do an ordinary thing. Maybe you're doing a scientific calculator and you are trying the value of a sine. or cos. That is a series, and you're doing that series calculation, that summation in parallel. Somehow. Does it make sense? Parallel computation of anything. Of course, it should have some, start with the simplest thing, smallest possible thing that you could do. Then gradually, if you can add some sophistication, do that. Later, if I don't have the base, extra add-ons, extensions, that comes much later.
It could clearly show the sequential versus the parallel.
That comparison, you're selling something, ensure that people buy it.
Yes. It's people can stay declaring and still progress.
If we go to the first page of the tutorial, most of the tutorial will ask for shell lesson, this one. So what it asks is how you know how to work in the shell terminal, you know about the basics of Python, and you have basic idea about high-performance computing. These are the prerequisites. How do you get that? One is the shell lesson that we talked about in class, that how do we do change files, folders, write file, search something in shell, search for a file, search for a text, do grep, do automated scripting, like that. That's the summary of this. This usually takes 5 to 6 hours for non-tech people or beginners. For you, you might be able to get this done in 1 to 2 hours maybe. If you're an expert user, you will be done in 20 minutes. Okay, so you could even try the other one. So this is one of the prerequisite lesson. We covered this already for our midterm, I think, right? So HPC intro, the basics of high-performance computing, and these are later to come. So you could also do the workflow management. There are different workflow management, green awareness, and then Python, Chapel, parallel Python, and stuff. Okay, so there are multiple tutorials. Anything else?
I think that
Does this look okay?
that's all.
It says November.
One.
Oh, because okay. Thank you. Good. It's 23rd. Okay, I wanted to ask everyone, especially 7 or 6 people. So the timing given in the classroom, is that okay? There was some parallel code. Okay, so 7:06 is 2:50 p.m. okay for you. 7:06, 2:50 p.m. fine for you on 23rd. Oh, you have to check the classroom. Again, this is not for 449, okay? This is for 7:06. 449 is 2 p.m., okay? Yes.
So our careful will be on here.
Yes.
Yes, 2 p.m. Let me double check the room number we have received for today. 7H, 30C, 7H, 30C. Let's look at 449. Yes, 23. Yes, the room number is confirmed. Room number is confirmed. Date is also confirmed. So it's 23rd, 2 p.m. for 449, 2:50 p.m. for 706. Okay, so this one, 7H30C.
That's all.
Is this readable, Tosca? Only difficulty is at the end of the block, last block. Okay. Any other questions, concern regarding midterm project, anything? We are trying to increase the syllabus as less as possible.
Sorting and searching codes should be practiced for you.
Sorting and searching, that tutorial does a good job, even though syllabus is half of it. I'd recommend going through the whole stuff. It had, I think, 3 sortings, right? Three of each, maybe. So maybe bubble, selection, merge, like that. Okay, if you have languages to learn, Rust, Go. I have to check another one. Let's see. Of course, Java, you can do parallel programming in Java, Python as well, right? You could do in Python, Java as well, or you could do Rust, Scala, Java or Scala, which is similar to Java. So you could try that. Chapel is one. There are some other, but I'm not mentioning because if it's a multi-purpose language, you'll have benefits of using it in different companies. There are languages like Zig, but I rarely see companies asking for it. Nobody knows C++, right?
Or
A little bit. Okay, if you're into C++, you could try UPC++. That's a C++ extension. Lots of Apache project will allow you to do parallel stream processing, parallel data processing. So you could try the MapReduce, Apache Spark, instead Dust. There is another one, Ray. This project Elasticsearch was there. So some of the big open source projects have components which utilizes a lot of parallel stuff. Anybody into .NET programming? .NET, ASP, C#?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so .NET people could try .NET parallel libraries. Java people could try Java's parallel libraries. Python people could try Python libraries. Start small, really small. So directly going to the Python documentation. So support for this one is not in the phone, mobile, but for desktop and others, you could try that. So they have multi-processing library. So these modules, go to their examples, see what they're doing, how people are using that. So look for example, look for documentation, what things are supported. You should be able to relate many of these with your operating system cores. Operating system cores, you have a process, you're spawning, you have pipes and queues, so a lot of this. So this is for the Python people. For Java people, you can do two things. One is Java runs multiple threads under the process. So you could be doing parallel programming using thread, or if you want to do multi-process as well, you have to run multiple Java processes. Have you heard of something called Dr. Java? Anybody heard something like that? Okay, Dr. Java launches two processes. One's for the first pane and another for the interaction pane, I think. So you could be launching multiple separate Java processes and collaborating there, but that's second level. First level is the multi-threading. So let's see Java documentation. And this Gencov is very good tutorial. Gencov. Gencov.com, they have good tutorials. So try this. Gencov multi-threading. We can also look in the Oracle website. There you go. Parallelism. So a part of Java tutorial, you get parallel stream processing. See? Okay, so no matter what language, just for this course, you don't have to learn a whole lot new. Whatever you know, add parallelism from there. Some programming, some project you already have, maybe. Try to parallelize some portion of your existing project. Some language you already know. Look for the parallel, either raw code like this or look for libraries which does that, but then be able to configure different parts of that library. For example, in the previous class we did, what was that? That was regression, right? So we were saying how many from there are some Python library, and we are choosing how many cores to use for the parallel processing. Learn a library well, or learn to code, and the project could be something you like. I don't have a requirement. You have to do each thing. Smallest possible project is fine. I need to see the effort. You tried something. Maybe succeeded partially. How many of you are into deep learning? All of you? Only one. Okay. I would like to. So for in-person people, what is your specialty? What is your, or what side are you looking into? Or what profession, what learning, what's your hobby, or what's a technical project you'd like to try? Or what are you approaching now? Agentic AI. Next.
iOS application.
iOS applications. Start. Web-based. Start. Web. Let's give you some few things to play with. So try with PyTorch. No, you don't have to try all of them. Try some of them. Another interesting thing to try is what is happening in a PC. Lots of processes are running, right? Lots of things happening. If you look at the performances, 193 processes, 2,000, 2,500 threads, lots of things are happening. There is a point where you'll keep getting speed ups. And there is a point beyond which your system will be thrashing. Somewhat like your page file thrashing. So one interesting project is dynamic adjustment of parallel workload in an environment with dynamic resource availability. So it sounds very techy, but in brief it means amount of, so your CPU availability, right? CPU busyness, GPU busyness, RAM, many things will happen. So you find out how much you can speed up without slowing down the whole machine. So you keep increasing. If you see a significant overload in the system, then you decrease a bit so that there is some idle resource left for other processes to use. If you launch a new program and they ask for more resources, you slow yourself down. And this itself could be a project, thesis, or something bigger. Let's hear from the web page. Yes. So there are questions in the chat. How many questions will be there in the midterm? At least 4. Is quiz pattern the same as a midterm pattern, same as SOPs? Yes, similar, but with some math as well. Up to 2 maths, maybe. Any other questions?
Both sequential and the pattern, or just one?
There is a question whether we need to know both the sequential version and just the parallel version. I think we need to know both, otherwise we'll not be able to compare much. What parts stayed the same, what parts differed. How many people are working in the web? We saw 2 here. Here. There's something in the web world you could try. So if you're into web programming, you could try Node.js. Okay, Node.js is not the server-side scripting. You should be able to try some parallel programming there. So it doesn't have to be C, C++, Python. You could do Node.js as well. So Node.js in the front end and back end On the front end, you could try Worker API, Web Worker. So it could be completely web-based project as well. Anybody who is used React.js? Okay, so you could try RxJS, MOSJS. GPU.js. Okay. If you're more into DevOps or software field, you could try parallel software testing as well. Execute multiple tests. Or even parallel compilation. All right, what other questions are there? One challenging, if you like challenges a lot, you could try So Perl. So debugging Perl. In essence, Perl programs. That's one interesting thing. Okay, so while you were away, we were talking about parallel software compilation, debugging of parallel programs, and parallel software testing. If you recap, you could be splitting up same task into multiple parts for accelerated processing. If the task cannot be separated, you do multiple different tasks. So is homogeneous computation split up or heterogeneous computation you do different part? Just like work is distributed in a group, you do different part of the task, completely unrelated task. So maybe somebody, one core is dealing with maybe one algorithm, another is different algorithm. So, or different workers are doing exactly the same task but on different data. So there are many different kinds of parallelism. So it's already folder. If the hybrid solution as well. All right, what other questions do you have?
The last one, you know, the application, changes.
Yes.
So we can have something like that.
If you gave, it's somewhere. So your area. Okay.
Some more things.
Can I go?
Yes, sir.
Abhi.
Yes, sir. Third line started. The third of October.
I would like to stay on my own. How long will it take generally for some?
You should take forever.
Of course, and
How to take forever? Okay, there is a question in class. In general, I'm generalizing the question. If I want to learn something, how long should you take? Okay, so let's start with programming. Everybody did AI course for Tutu? Some sort of AI course, okay. So do you remember writer of the book name? Or that book writer, AI book writers? AI book. Stuart Russell, Peter Norvig. Who is Peter Norvig? Probably Stanford professor. Was head of research in Google. And Peter Norvig says, learn programming in 10 years. You'll find lots of books, tutorial, everyone saying learning 24 hours or 3 hours. I hope he did not see that in 3 hours in YouTube or anything. Everybody wants to learn fast. Somebody's trying to move fast as well. And this Peter Norvig, so let's see who's Peter Norvig first. You may not trust me, but you have to trust Norvig, right? Director of research at Google. And probably writer of the AI book. Here, there you go, the AI book. Sorry, Berkeley maybe. So some US university professor. So Stuart Russell and Peter Norvig, they wrote the AI book, which is taught in over 1,500 places. This is the global AI book. You must have seen this book, right? So it is the second author of this book. And head of research of Google. He probably retired, I'm not sure. But he says, learn programming in 10 years, not 24 hours. Now ask, how long should you take to learn anything? No, whole life. Second, the question was, if you are to go into software testing, what to do? You go to Test Automation University and complete this tutorial. This is a tutorial suggested by one of our colleagues. So these are all free tutorials. All languages, different things. Complete all tutorials in this website. Done. Not done. This is start. And then you go into Apache, say JMeter, learn different tools as well. If you go into Apache JMeter, and you'll see, if you look the tutorial well, you'll see here, say distributed testing. You'll find out how to do software testing in parallel using JMeter. Then we have more questions in the chat from our other people. Okay, so how do you do Apache Spark MapReduce? So MapReduce, using MapReduce, you're doing things in parallel, right? So look into Apache, not just these two. So Apache software projects, be data processing, database stream, other stuff. So this is a list by name. Not all of them are relevant to parallel programming, but you see lots of them are there. Some are full software, some are type of software. So here you see type of the software based on category. So look into these projects and see which of them have something to do with parallelism, and then work on that. So in this way, you learn the software while looking at this parallelism, and then maybe modify that a bit, contribute to that open source project. For example, Apache Flink, Spark, Samza should be here, Storm, Spark, Samza is here. So you should be able to find some parallel parts in those projects. Don't just look into only the mentioned one, go to other one. Okay. Second, people ask for, if you want to do web-based project, what type of project you have to do. Again, the idea is same. It could be game, it could be even your library application, it could be a calculator, anything you make. You have to find whatever you're doing, loading data, running AI model on website, downloading something, uploading something. So find parallelism anywhere. You do service worker, different part of the web page is using maybe different worker on the front end, on the back end. Test Automation University. If you want to go into the software testing track, and then you do parallel software testing. So Test Automation University. If you go to that, you'll find many different paths and many different languages, or even codeless as well. So complete all this as a starter, and then maybe try to do some of these in parallel. Okay. What you use is less important. You can use Vue.js, fine. Do anything in parallel, that's the point. You could use assembly language, that's fine. You could use WebAssembly, awesome. Right? So let's see. Using WebAssembly. Okay. So use web direct offer. So use this application. Fine, there you go. Look for an also Vue.js. So see if you can parallelize anybody. Even if the library that you want to use doesn't have anything parallel, you modify and make a new version of the library and then sell that worldwide or distribute that worldwide. This is a good opportunity. Even if this lives for 1 month, you get a global exposure for 1 month. Does that answer your question, Atikur Rahman, sir? Whole world is a playground. What are you so afraid of? Play, break things. Play, fail. Inshallah, try something. Anything you like. Parallelism is inherent in people. People who do gardening, they don't plant one tree of one kind. They plant 10 trees of one kind. Even if one dies, you have some other. People do business investments. Have you heard of Bushundara? What did they do? They sell lands, right? How much does a land cost? Crores. But you tell me, why are they selling toilet tissues? Living, besides doing crore business, toilet tissue, what's the price? 20, 30? Why they do such a small business? You increase the portfolio, right? Cement and many other things. You're doing A4 papers. Varieties. The sun fails, there are seasonality changes. So you try things, do things in parallel. Not everything is going to have some speed up. Sometimes in some places, of course, the ideal application will be using parallelism to the fullest. From data loading, processing, saving, encryption, decryption everywhere. That's the ideal application. That's how you start. Important. Both breadth and depth both are important. Don't figure out. That's the wrong idea. Career does not start now. Career will start in your 30s or 40s. You will decide there what was your passion, what you like the most. Try 20 jobs first. And then decide which one you'd like to later. Of course, there are different ones because some of the jobs at a senior position would like to see whether you have worked in that field for a certain number of years. That's a different thing. But travel first. Foreign people, you see they're changing jobs 6 months, 2 years, learning from different companies. You become more valuable. Heard of Vincent Chan? Bachelor's in one degree, master's in another, PhD in another, right? If we were doing that, people would be looking at us. We couldn't even decide what to study. Now that he started 3 different disciplines, he's become the best person to be a VC. Because he understood multiple disciplines. Now you tell jack of all trades is bad? Not necessarily. If any of us doing that earlier, people would be saying, wouldn't even take a decision. Just jumping from discipline to discipline. Now that becomes an asset. People are doing integration. Many companies, many product, many software requires components from different disciplines, different areas, different libraries. What is .NET? Heard of .NET? What is .NET? Whatever it is, you're combining, it's a common language runtime, right? Combining, you're doing C#.NET and many others, ASP.NET, many things. So even much before .NET, people could use single software project, could have components in multiple different languages. You could combine all that. There are technologies for that. Whole thing doesn't need to be one software or one programming language. Doesn't have to be. Simulations, animation, these are resource hungry. You have to do things in parallel. Why are you using Google Chrome? The JavaScript execution, that's running in parallel. See. So once upon a time, we were doing single thread, right? So core JavaScript is single thread, but what is it doing? Internal parallelism, multi-threading for some part of the task, whatever you can. Any speed up is speed up, any advantage. If your program, if your model runs 2 seconds faster than others, you're in business. Do a map application that finds something, does something faster than Google Maps. Do a travel app again, which does something better than Uber. People will go for that. Why did we start using Google? It was faster to load. All other search engines had a filled up front page. Google had one simple bar. It used to load faster. That's how we started. Anything you do, try something. There. Parallelism. Take parallelism there. Okay? Any other thing? Any other questions? Final call. Final call before the plane leaves for the midterm. All right, you were missing something. Okay, 449. You're good. Now time for 706. I would need a loud responses. Okay, Shovik.
Yes, sir.
Present, sir.
Only say yes.
Yes, sir.
No, sir, only yes.
Yes.
Shadman, yes. Sheikh, Samir.
Yes.
Next, Satati,
Yes, sir.
Rajesh, Nadia, Sharia, Mirza,
Yes, sir.
Tanzim, Tanzim, Atik Uriash, Sakib Dawan, Zarin, Marzuka,
Yes.
Sir, Dolun present.
did I see Atif Karim?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Everybody please memorize the serial numbers, then you know what to expect.
Yes. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Present, sir.
Anybody left? কারোটা বাকি আছে? Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum. Best of luck for your midterm and get started with your projects and try to complete the paper reviews faster. Okay, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.